Hey guys, it's Chicken Jockey, and welcome back to another episode of Silverlake Survival. So as you can see, we've made some pretty insane base progress off camera. I mean, look at this. In this ice block, we've got this bed, this lantern, we've got a crafting table, and we've even got a chest right here. I mean, this thing is already looking like a full-fledged base. Oh yeah, and we also made a little bit of additional off-camera progress on our tree base right here, and I was gonna show this to you as well, but then I realized, I'm planning on doing a stream soon, a stream Saturday, and we're gonna be making more base progress on camera there, and so pretty much all the progress that I would show you on this video would be outdated by the time the video came out, so I guess we're just gonna leave all the base progress to the stream itself, but in general, I'm really happy with how this base is turning out. It's definitely nowhere near complete, but I'm happy with the progress. So Anyways, me and the bot have been talking with each other, and we've decided that we want to build a town. But here's the thing. This town that we're planning on building is not going to be just any normal town, kind of like this one is over here. It's actually going to be the opposite of that. It's going to probably be the most not normal town you have ever seen in Minecraft. And no, we kind of took a big dip there, but it didn't matter because we saved ourselves. It was fine. So we have come up with that general idea on building a really crazy, just completely not normal town. What we haven't found out is the location. We haven't really figured out the layout of the town either. So you know what I think we should do? I think we should meet up with Nabat and just maybe talk a little bit about our plans and try to map out a location, a layout for this thing. All right, I'm at the cake base right now. The cake base inside my base. It's like baseception. Oh, hey! So we are here, as you know, to discuss our plans.
Top secret. So this is our sign. Top secret. By the way, this is this meeting place.
Yeah, don't tell him.
Let's go inside the
Yeah, please don't tell him.
The slightly not so great. Okay, replace the cake. Okay.
Yeah, Irvin actually called it to my attention that this cake was partially eaten. And I said I would investigate, so who ate this cake? Because that's a crime. The cake-based cake should never be eaten.
Well, I kind of ate part of the cake.
Okay, you know what? I think that cake should be eaten. Let's just change the rule. Let's say, you know what? Do you have any signs?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I think we should replace the cake every so often because sometimes some weird funguses get inside of it.
Okay, I'm not gonna eat that cake anymore. Anyways, so about our new base, or not our new base, but our new town. So it's obviously just gonna be, the theme is the most strange, the most crazy, the most not normal town possible. But the question is, where are we gonna build it? Because I have no location in mind.
I mean, we want to do it in a place that's open, but also has some trees. We don't want to do it in like a plains, because that just seems too empty.
How about a savanna? I mean, the grass is kind of bland there, but it is kind of a nice mix of what you were describing.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. We also want some hills too.
Problem is, there's two problems with the savanna. I mean, it's a nice biome. It's the perfect biome for what we need. But first of all, I don't know where our savanna is. And second of all the savannas that I do know where they are, I kind of just chopped down every single tree in the area to make this ugly tree. Well, no, it's not ugly. It's beautiful. It's a work of art.
Ugly.
It's the greatest base.
That's why everybody says stuff is ugly, because they think it's ugly, but it's not. They're just hard on themselves.
You know, I think there is a savanna actually by the shopping district, and a savanna by the shopping district might end up being the most perfect possible spot. Oh, I thought you left the game right there, but no, Irvin joined the game.
No.
Hello, Irvin. So, the shopping district, the savanna by the shopping district, it's a great location and all, but the one issue is just the fact that it does have a lot of its trees stripped out, because as I said, all the nearby savannas, they don't got no trees no more. I'm using Minecraft's most useless feature right now, which is holding rockets in your left hand, because you can't even fly with them. It's Wonderbar.
Wunderbar! I think this episode is gonna be mostly like saying memes and my speaking German.
So the savanna, I do believe, was in this direction. Let's see if I can fly off or if the rocket lag will kill me. The rocket lag killed me. Wonderful.
I love how there's just this jumping board.
Yeah, I actually built it out to get, I think, a screenshot or a thumbnail or something. I don't remember. Maybe it was a thumbnail.
It seemed like a pretty bad thumbnail. Not gonna lie.
Well, it probably, yeah. Okay, so it probably wasn't a thumbnail. I'm just gonna do this to take off.
Yes, defile the landscape.
The landscape was already defiled the moment we set foot on it.
Good point.
Okay, so I'm at the savanna. It's a decent savanna. But the one problem is it does happen to have a savannah village in it that I completely destroyed in search of logs and wood blocks. So that might be a little bit of an ugly view next to our town, and I don't really know what to do. We could, I guess, demolish the entire village and build our own city on top of it, or we could build somewhere where we won't see the village.
This is terrible. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Bury it. Bury it. Bury it. I don't want to see this. This is terrible. I don't. Why is this even on our land? I will cover this up with any single.
We need to get a mod that prevents diorite from generating them.
Yeah, we can just make our own strange, not a virus software that just deletes diorite.
You know, I like this spot. I mean, this seems pretty open.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's quite big enough, but yeah, it is big enough because let's say we make a road that stretches. Oh, I've got to clear out the grass. So we can make a road that just goes whoop and then kind of wraps around. We could, yeah, we can
clear out the wildlife.
Doing your part.
I'm helpful.
So I don't know. Now that we're here, I think we might as well just figure out some layouts. I do happen to have a shulker box of blackstone lying around, and I mean, it's not a full shulker box of blackstone. It's a fake shulker, kind of like the hollow Easter bunnies.
Yeah, those are scams.
Yeah, they say hollow on the package, so they're not exactly scams. But the problem is you don't see the packaging when you bite into them. You only see the packaging when you buy them. So like, if a kid gets...
It's not exactly the point of Easter to get Easter bunnies, but I mean, it helps.
I mean, you can see that it's hollow when you buy it, but then the kid that gets it in their Easter basket isn't gonna know it's hollow, so...
That's why I use real bunnies.
Wait, what?
No.
So I'm not exactly... I'm kind of just winging it here, but I'm trying to build... Oh, thank you for that torch. I could not see. But as I was saying, I'm kind of just building out the layout of this road. I'm just winging it completely. It's looking... not too great right now. The thing I did forget to grab was some andesite because I wanted to use andesite to make sort of the curb of the street. So that was kind of a fail, but I guess we can use stone for it. I mean, there's a mountain, there's a cave right there. We can just dig.
I'll start mining. Time to defile the landscape. Okay, so chicken jockey, I got some stone. Probably not enough. How much would you say we need?
I have no idea. I'm kind of just winging it. I had no plan going into this. All I knew is that I need some streets. So I'm just gonna. Oh, here's some andesite. Maybe we can use andesite after all. No, probably not.
You know, in all those Hooky Lion movies, they talk about like Hakuna Matata or whatever. You know what I say? I just say, no think, just do.
Yeah, no think, just do. Yeah, I think we might actually end up being able to use andesite because I had forgotten how stinking big these andesite patches were.
Yeah, they are pretty big and pretty useful.
Yeah, they're like diorite patches, but instead of being a scar on the landscape, they're nice.
I know. I made a bunch of stone slabs. Do we need stone bricks?
Probably not for the overall layout of the city, but if you can remember where to find those materials, you're probably gonna thank yourself later when you need them. But of course, at least for me, I never remember where I put that. I never remember where I put that one stack of green dye that I didn't need, and then now I need it, so...
Yeah, for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we need to make a green chocolate. I wish there was chocolate in Minecraft. There's cookies, but there's no chocolate.
Make green cookies.
Petition for them to add chocolate to Minecraft.
Sign in the description below by liking the video.
Yes, that's how it works. Okay, I think this is actually looking like a street now, sort of, if you use your imagination.
Just use your imagination, kids.
Alright, so after a good amount of work, we have finally finished a good portion of the streets for our wacky town that we've been starting on. And the overall infrastructure for this place is nowhere near done. But I think we've gotten enough in place so far to finally start smacking in some builds. Oh, and I did just realize that we tried to place some buttons throughout this road to kind of give it some more depth and some more interest, but as we expanded the road, we kind of just stopped doing that, so yeah, we're probably gonna have to finish that up a bit later. But before we do any of that, I kind of just want to start my build that I've been planning on putting in the city for a couple of weeks now, and that is the most wacky, crazy house you've ever seen. It's somewhat going to be based on those houses you see in Dr. Seuss books. There's actually a house in, I believe, Canada. or maybe it's Alaska, but there's this house somewhere in Northern America that's actually based on one of those houses from Dr. Seuss, and it's just very tall and wild and wacky, and we're kind of going to be making something like that, but this house is sort of going to defy physics. It's not going to have really any sense of color palette. It's just going to be all over the place. So I guess we're going to have to gather up a lot of resources so we can get started on that. Alright, after a nice little grind session and a little bit of terraforming, I think we've got pretty much all of the wrong box. As I was saying, I think we've got pretty much all of the resources we need and all of the space we need to finally build up the very first structure in this entire town. So, I suppose let's just jump into a time-lapse real quick and build up this wacky house. I really do need to sort out my inventory though. Alright, I guess I'll just do that real quick, and then we will jump into the time-lapse. And we are finally done with this build. It actually took quite a while. It doesn't look like it's very big, and that's because it isn't, but it ended up being a lot more complicated of a build than I thought it would be, because it had so many little details, and I spent so much time simply looking at the pictures I took of the creative mode design and copying them into this world. But before we tour the build, let me just say, I apologize for the Steve skin that appeared on the time-lapse, and that's because Bedrock Edition. Bedrock Edition sometimes has glitch skins that just randomly turn into Steve or Alex skins for no reason, and there's no way to fix them. So that's why I had a Steve skin during the time-lapse. And yeah, this thing was very, very fun to build, but it's probably not going to be so much fun to edit up the time-lapse we just took, because as I said, there was tons of little details to stick on here, and I was probably spending more time going back and forth, adding little decorations than actually building up the structure. So it's gonna be a slight pain to make the time lapse, but overall, it was fun. Now I will say that the interior to this build is absolutely horrifying right now. I did not build this thing with an interior in mind, but you know what? We will worry about that later, because that's the way that we do things here. We just build the exterior, and we forget about the interior until later. So I guess let's get on with a quick little tour of this thing. So the first floor is just a basic red house siding thing with a blue house roof thing. I just went with a red siding, blue roof color palette, and I kind of mixed up the textures to kind of make it look a little better. And this thing doesn't look quite as good as my original design because I ran out of cyan dye, which I was planning to use cyan stained glass for the windows, but as I ran out of dye, I had to opt for just regular glass panes, which does look a little worse, but I think it's fine overall. And the second floor was just a standard castle style medieval floor thingy, I just used the block palette of stony blocks and sprucey blocks, just the average palette you're gonna see in a castle build. And then for the third layer, I kind of went for a black stone fortress. It ended up just being extremely natural, like it's creeping over everything, it's like completely ruined, but it's also covering other areas of the build as well. And the next layer, which is this jungle temple ruins thingy, is very, very similar. And again, this jungle temple ruins also doesn't look quite as good as my original design because I didn't end up actually having vines when I made this build. I was planning on having a ton of great decoration blocks for this thing, like vines and mossy cobblestone. I didn't end up having that, so I kind of had to cut corners because, you know, survival Minecraft and building. It's a little tougher than creative building. And the next floor up was this modern house thing right here. Let's see if we can get a good look by flying in. And yeah, right there. That's the modern house. It's just your average generic Minecraft modern house build. And it kind of sticks out from the rest of the stories because most of the stories are kind of just this organic, rustic style. And the modern house is just like, no, I'm modern, I'm futuristic, and it's very different from the rest of the houses. However, I do think that I messed up a little bit when I was building this thing, because both sides are supposed to have, you know, this kind of cyan terracotta centerpiece, but it sticks out one block on this side, which is all cool and good, but it actually sticks out 2 blocks on this side, as you can see. So yeah, I kind of messed up the dimensions a little bit, and also this floor suffered probably the most from my lack of cyan stained glass, because I did end up having to go for regular glass panes just as I had to on this floor, and it really doesn't look too great with regular glass. I do think I'm gonna come back and touch up this thing later when I have time, because I'm gonna be adding probably a bunch of terraforming around this build to kind of spice it up a bit and give it more life. But for now, I think it's a great build to start. So anyways, this final top floor was inspired by one of the YouTuber Fwip's structures that he built in his latest survival series, and the original structure was actually built on a windmill house thingy, and the color palette of the original design was rather bland because he kind of just went for a light block on a dark block look, and it worked really well for the kind of thing he was trying to construct, but just as a plain building, it didn't look too great. So I kind of had to put a little bit of a spin on it to make it look better by just adding some texturing, some texture mixing up here. I kept the same roof design that he had, but what I added to the roof was this nice little weather vane. It was kind of just the last minute thing I decided to add to it. I just slapped a little rooster shaped weather vane there, and this is probably my favorite part of the build actually. It just feels so nice to look at. I don't know, just a random weather vane. You see this crazy, insane house in this town, and then at the top there's just, oh yeah, there's a weather vane. But the weather vane isn't the only thing that's on top of this house, because I also added this wacky chimney to fit the wacky house. Now I actually was planning to add an extra floor on top of this final story, but I ended up scrapping that and instead putting this chimney in its place, and I am so glad I did that because this chimney looks wacky and it looks amazing, and I'm really glad I went with it. So anyways, yeah, that's the final build. I'm really proud of this thing. It's probably the most complicated build I've ever worked on, just because of the fact that, well, it's tons of different styles. It's basically tons of different builds rolled into one, and it did take forever to design, forever to build, and even though it's a small build, I really like it, because it's just really fun. Anyways, enough with me rambling on about this thing. Let's get on with making this road area look a little bit nicer, and just adding some additional decorations to this place. Now, I do have a little bit of an idea what I want to do for the lighting decoration, but for that, we're gonna need a little bit of iron. Yeah, this is me realizing that I didn't bring any diamonds. Alright, let's check our ender chest, and yeah, I kind of forgot our ender chest is actually a complete mess right now that has no valuable resources in it. Alright, now that we have diamonds in our inventory, let's get back to what we were saying. Wait, where are we? Yeah. we need some lampposts or lighting decoration. And for that, we're gonna need a little bit of iron, a little bit of netherrack. Oh, lava. No, 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 no. All right, a little bit of netherrack over here. And we are going to want to smelt all said netherrack into nether brick. So how this street lamp design is gonna work is we're gonna place an andesite wall. We're going to place a nether brick fence. We're going to build up a little bit so that we can actually place on top of the nether brick fence. And we are going to place an iron bar. We're going to place another andesite wall. We're going to place an iron bar. We're going to place an iron trapdoor, another iron trapdoor, and now we're gonna dig down, and we're going to remember we don't have lanterns in our hotbar. We're gonna grab out the lanterns, and we're going to place one, and this is the street lamp design. It's actually very similar to the ones we built out in the shopping district, but I kind of tried to design one that would more fit the modern kind of neighborhood street type style. And I do think it looks pretty good, but the trouble is it's going to take us a good amount of time to actually build up a lot of these in the city. I think it will be worth it, but it's also very, very expensive on the iron. So if you're trying to build this design in your Minecraft world, you're going to need an iron farm because, I mean, we've got iron trapdoors, we've got iron bars. I mean, it might not seem a lot for just one single lamppost, but once you start building more and more lampposts, the iron usage is really going to stack up. And yeah, I guess we are probably going to want to keep building this in the town, but the trouble is, if we build too many of them, it may start feeling a little bit repetitive and ugly, and yeah, as you can see, it already feels like there's a lot of them, and I've only placed 3 so far, so we might want to go with more than just one decoration. But fortunately, we just so happen to have more than one decoration to put in this place, but before we get to that, I think the first step to making this area look better is going to be getting rid of the complete and utter mess that we've left here. I mean, not having the place be extremely messy might contribute at least a little bit to making it look good. Wait a minute, did I just say contribute? That's definitely not the right way to pronounce contribute. Or is it contribute? You know, actually, now I don't know. I'm confusing myself. Yeah, you know what? Now I'm starting to think it is contribute after all. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just have blanks. That's just how it works, I guess. Anyways, so, to make this place look a little better, we are going to be adding some trees. And these are going to be basic little decoration trees. They're not really going to be anything huge or anything insanely fancy. They're just going to be the little trees you would see as decoration outside people's houses or in the park or I don't know, just anywhere in a random spot. I really don't know what they are, but just those random decoration trees that you see. So anyways, this design was based on a random picture I got off of Google Images, so there's not really anyone I know to credit, but all I know is that I did not come up with the general shape or idea of this tree. And I'm just realizing that this tree isn't going to look the absolute best in the savanna biome. You know, the biome gradient of the savanna that makes all the grass and the leaves look weird is really making me question that this place was the correct spot to build our town. But then again, it is kind of in the middle of everything. It's really convenient for traveling, so while it may not be the best for building, it's probably a great location for general purposes when you think about it. Alright, I think this tree is pretty much complete, both because it looks pretty decent, and also because I've ran out of leaves. And like I said, the savanna biome gradient kind of does ruin the beauty of this tree a little bit, but overall, I think the shape, I think the overall thing just fits in really nicely with what we already have going on. And honestly, I just want to see how these trees look when we have them in multiple numbers, rather than just sticking one in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, I do think they look pretty good in quantity, and you know, this really makes me wonder, could we hide some lights in these? I mean, don't get me wrong, these street lamps are cool and all, but I'm not sure they're really going to be sufficient for just stopping mob spawns. So maybe we could just, you know, stick a sea lantern in the center of one of these, and maybe it will be hidden by all the leaves? I don't know, we're going to maybe have to try that later. But for now, I think that's gonna be the end of the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. We did end up getting a ton done. We started mapping out an entire new area for a bunch of people to kind of collab and build in. We made a huge build. Well, actually, it's really not that big at all. but we made a pretty nice and fun build. We added some decoration to our area, and yeah, I really like this city. I really like how it's turning out, and I just can't wait to see what more projects we could be working on, and what other players could be working on as well. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to leave a like to support it, and if you're new to the channel, please also don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to see more future episodes of Silverlake Survival, because this is definitely not going to be the last episode that we're going to be building in this area. I have tons of future plans. I actually don't have any future plans for new builds, but I do know we're going to be improving this one. We're probably going to be making more builds, and we're also just going to be adding all sorts of new decorations and cool things to this area, and probably working on some other projects unrelated to this little town as well. So, anyways, I guess it's goodbye for now, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Silverlake Survival.